As I find myself here in this brightly lit room, and in front of this microphone, I can't help but to wonder the question that is surely plaguing everyone's mind right now. What is vice epistemology? Well, if you are indeed pondering this, then you're in luck, for I will be explaining this concept in a way that isn't as brain-aching as we see in Qasim Qassam's text. So allow me, your narrator, to enlighten you with this concept in the ever-growing and complicated world of philosophy. Before we dive into this, I first need to explain what epistemology is, since believe it or not, it is not common knowledge. Epistemology is a branch of philosophy, one that specifically focuses on the theory of knowledge. In this field, the concept of knowledge is not as simple as you may believe, as epistemologists like to split this concept between justified belief and opinion. This might be sounding very complicated so far. That's because it is. The simplest way I could explain this to you is by examining the statement, "The sky is blue." This statement sounds very much factual. However, how can one truly know whether it is true or not? You may be tempted to say, well, that's very simple. I know the sky is blue because I see it with my eyes. But can one truly trust their eyes to make this judgment? How can one truly know for sure that the color of the sky isn't merely an illusion? Furthermore, how do I know the blue I'm seeing is the same blue you're seeing? Okay, we managed to basically more or less explain a basic definition of what epistemology is. But what is vice epistemology? Well, in order to understand this, we must also understand what intellectual vices are. An intellectual vice is a harmful characteristic of a person. In the context of epistemology, in Qassam's text, it is a negative character trait that may affect a person's ability to make reasonable judgment. Vice epistemology is essentially a study of the negative qualities of a person that may affect what they know. These qualities can include the following: gullibility, dogmatism, prejudice, close-mindedness, and negligence. An example of these intellectual vices is dogmatism. And no, it has nothing to do with dogs. It is actually epistemology's greatest enemy. Dogmatism is the notion of a stubborn individual that their opinions or beliefs should be regarded as nothing more than the absolute truth. This is considered a vice because an individual does not allow themselves to pursue what is actually true because of their own personal biases. Now, let us apply this to the real world. Can we really trust people, especially leaders, who have these vices? Does the quality of a person's knowledge really depend on their intellectual virtue or vices? I would say yes, as these vices prevent a person from making effective and responsible inquiries. Also, people who have these vices tend to not actually pursue the whole truth. Instead, they look for evidence based on their own conclusions, even though an honest intellectual would come up with conclusions based on their evidence. In summary, what is vice epistemology? It is the study of what negative character traits impact people's intellectual capabilities, and if they exist in the first place.